Welcome back, everybody, to the 423 Football Podcast. Today is our Wednesday, February 7th show, and we are 3 days removed from the Super Bowl, Super Bowl 52. Incredible game.
Yeah,
fantastic game.
Great game.
I mean, say what you will about the NFL, and maybe people say games being boring or stuff like that, but the past couple Super Bowls have been incredible. Incredible games.
Yeah.
Despite, I guess, teams that you wouldn't expect to be there, like the Eagles with a backup, but hey, the Eagles won. So we're going to talk all that today, Super Bowl 52 recap. If we have enough time at the end, I know this is probably the last time because we've been kind of getting away from fantasy football talk. Obviously, with the playoffs being here, we haven't really had much to discuss fantasy-wise, but we will start to get back into that. But for today, like I said, Super Bowl recap, that's going to be the majority of the show. And then if we have time at the end, we'll go over the NFL honors and the Hall of Fame class of 2018. And then we'll give you another schedule update. Hopefully we'll have that sorted out by next week.
Yep.
So I'm your host, Brandon Bouchard, joined here by Brett Hamilton.
Hello.
Okay, so let's just dive right into this, baby.
Let's dive into it.
All right, Eagles defeat the Patriots 41-33 in Super Bowl 52. Eagles looked like the better team pretty much the entire way. There was a little bit of a time where the Patriots, you thought, okay, here they come. They're going to start coming back.
Yeah, they got that momentum.
Yeah, but I mean, Eagles were up by 10 a couple of times. Two different times. And yeah, like I said, Patriots start rumbling back. But instead of, obviously we saw what they did last year. And was in what was maybe the ultimate deciding factor. Brandon Graham gets the strip sack on Tom Brady and Derek Barnett, who didn't even record a tackle in this game. Derek Barnett did not record a tackle in this game. Wow. Recovers the fumble. So, I mean, who needs a tackle when you're recovering fumbles out there?
Yep.
But I guess we'll just break down each part of this game. We'll go through the stats and maybe the matchups and break down a few specific plays that really defined this Super Bowl. So, Nick Foles versus Tom Brady. I didn't think we'd be having this discussion, but Nick Foles versus Tom Brady. Again, it's kind of similar to what we saw in the AFC Championship game, where, I mean, we know
are pretty similar.
Yeah, we know what Brady's going to do. It's just, can Bortles match that? Yeah. And Bortles pretty much did. They obviously came out on the losing end of that one. Or the Jaguars did. But in this one, Nick Foles did the same thing. He matched Brady. Foles had, 28 for 43, 373 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, and 1 receiving touchdown. Mm-hmm. Brady, 28 completions, same as Foles on 48 attempts. 505 yards, which, shout out to Brady.
Wow.
I mean, that's a postseason record, I believe, not just a Super Bowl record. Yeah. Postseason record, 505 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 lost fumble on the lone sack of the game. So, I mean, it's pretty much identical. But the thing that separates them, in my eyes, I mean, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but Foles made the impressive throws and actually took shots down the field. I just think he just flat out. I know people are going to look at the yardage that Brady put up, 505 yards, and be like, oh, Brady, I mean, that's just what he does. He was clearly the better quarterback in this game. But no, I think Foles completely outplayed Brady in this one.
Well, the difference is he caught his pass and Brady didn't.
There you go. If that's the separation you're talking about, I mean, that's one way to look at it. They both had 3 touchdowns. Both had 28 completions. Brady a little bit better on the yards.
Foles did have the interception.
Well, Brady had the fumble. They both had a turnover. Yeah. And arguably neither of those turnovers were really either their fault. Obviously, Foles' pick came off of Alshon Jeffrey. I thought he caught it, and then it kind of jarred loose, bobbled, and then Harmon got the pick, and then the fumble on Brady. Obviously, that was a little more in his control, but I mean, the line got demolished on that play.
Yeah, they were really
demolished.
I mean, box score. You can look at the box score all day, but just from a viewership standpoint,
eye test, man.
Yeah, I mean, Foles just looked better. I mean, he took he took more risks downfield, and they paid off. I mean, he threw some dimes downfield.
Dill for dimes, baby. He was making throws that like I'm used to seeing Brady make, where I'm just like, wow, how like splitting defenders. I know he made a few of those with Nelson Aguilar. And his receivers were catching everything.
Alshon Jeffrey had a really good game.
Alshon was incredible. Zach Ertz was incredible. Nelson Aguilar, incredible.
Yeah.
Like, all these guys were getting involved.
Yeah. And Brady, I mean, he had some good passes, especially his one of his touchdowns to Gronk was particularly impressive.
Yeah. Actually both, but the second one with the fade in the end zone.
Yeah, that was perfect. But Foles just, I mean, other than that, Brady just didn't. He didn't take a lot of risks. I mean, we talked about that, the Super Bowl preview show where, Brady doesn't really take a lot of risks downfield anymore, and he doesn't.
No, he doesn't have to usually.
Well, yeah. But he doesn't have to. I mean, his receivers, they get so much separation, which I think we'll talk about in a little bit.
Yeah.
That he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to throw, bombs all the time. He's not a gunslinger. And Foles isn't really either. Obviously, he's a backup. I mean, he's not out there just throwing bombs all day. But whenever the opportunity presented himself, he wasn't shy about it.
Exactly, and that's just it's a nod to Nick Foles, but it's also a nod to Doug Pederson.
Yeah, for having that much faith in your backup quarterback in the Super Bowl, that's just. I mean, Doug Pederson. I mean,
we'll get to that.
Incredible.
Yeah, we'll get to that later as well. But Foles made. I don't know what if just the eye test. If you just watch that game, if you just came in from outer space and you had no idea who Nick Foles or Tom Brady was, you would just flat out say Nick Foles he just looked like a better quarterback. Like Brady had a good game. I'm not discrediting that.
No, absolutely.
But something did kind of look weird. He was like on a few throws, he was throwing a few ducks and. Brady
we did point out a couple of those.
Never, ever throws ducks.
No.
Ever.
No. And they weren't tipped or anything. But one in particular was he missed Gronk over the middle. I mean, it was just, it looked bad, and it was like 10 yards past Gronk. I mean, there's no excuse. I mean, I don't think it was a bad route or anything. It was just a bad pass. And definitely not the norm for Tom Brady.
Yeah,
so,
but
I don't know what's going on.
As you were hinting to earlier, the average yards of separation in this game for the receivers.
I'm glad you broke this down because I was thinking about it as the game was being played. I was like, he's just finding wide receivers that have like 10 yards between them and anyone else. It's just broken down defense. The Eagles played a really good defensive game. Not every play though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay. I'll break down the average yards of separation. The top three. All Patriots. Amendola, 4.5 yards of separation. Chris Hogan, 4.1. Gronk, 3.4. Eagles, their best average yards of separation. Nelson Aguilar, 3.2. And then Ertz, Alshon, and Torrey Smith, all under 3 yards of separation. Now, to put that in perspective, only 4 players had averaged over 4 yards of separation in the playoffs as a whole. And we have 2, almost 3 Patriots players get over the 4 yards of separation right here.
Yep.
And again, back to the eye test. They just bless you, bless you. You're throwing off my my whole topic here. Anyway, they were just wide open all day long, and.
And they did. They took advantage of it. I mean,
yeah, they did.
You saw a lot of runs or yards after a catch.
And it led to one punt in this game. One punt. The Patriots never punted. Not once.
No.
Okay, I don't know what happened in this game. I went back and rewatched most every play the other day. But it's just like if you would have gone in, I mean, I feel like we say this every time, but if you would have gone in and told me that Brady wouldn't be sacked until the fourth quarter. You tell me they only get 1 turnover on the Patriots. Brady passes for 505 yards, 3 touchdowns. They don't punt the entire game. You tell me that. Yeah. I think you're absolutely insane for saying that the Patriots lost.
Yeah.
But no, they obviously, they lost this one. The lone punt of the game was Eagles, Donnie Jones. and I don't even think that one was that one returned? I think Amendola returned that one. I can't remember. Honestly,
it wasn't notable.
Yeah, one punt. I'm not going to notice that, but I mean, just Eagles just flat out outplayed them.
There's a couple of just weird points about this game. Yeah, the one punt for the entire game, one sack for the entire game, and the one fumble came from the one sack. I mean, it's just very, very odd, and it's just little quirky things.
It was a shootout, and then just finally one of the defensive or Brandon Graham finally stepped up and made a big play. Yeah, big-time players make big-time plays in big games. Shout out to Santana Moss right there.
That was it. That was a big-time play.
Yeah,
at the right time.
But again, the similarities of the QBs, I mean, I just think if you're obviously whoever comes out in the winning end, that's just another check mark for who had the better game. But Nick Foles, just everything was just dialed in. He didn't force anything really. Even when he did, well, I shouldn't say that. He didn't he made throws that he knew he could make. He played with incredible confidence, and that's what really put Foles above Brady for me in this game. And again, Foles caught his pass. Brady did not. We'll get into that when we break down each individual play.
Yep.
But yeah,
well,
okay.
Not every play of the game.
Yeah. On both sides of the ball, pretty much every player got involved in some form or fashion in this game. Yeah. I mean, just name a player. They did something in this game. Other than Dion Lewis, for some reason, Dion Lewis and Rex Burkhead. Well, Burkhead had the big, I think, 46-yard screen pass that he almost took to the house. But other than that, I mean, he really wasn't involved much. It was mainly James White, which more power to that, because I think James White is arguably behind Brady and Gronk. I think James White is their best offensive player. But 4 players over 100 yards in this game. Corey Clement, he was the only Eagles player over 100 yards. But the Wisconsin running backs, Corey Clement and James White, man.
Oh,
hey, you can't deny how
leave it in the past.
You can't deny how.
NFL now, it doesn't matter.
I mean, I didn't even. I'm not even that. I mean, I know who the Wisconsin players are, but But you can't deny what they did in this game. They were, I mean, incredible. We know what James White is a postseason master, apparently, and Corey Clement's going to get him on the action as well.
I guess so.
LeGarrette Blount, Jay Ajayi, LeGarrette Blount got the touchdown. He was running hard and angry. He was pissed off that the Patriots bailed on him. And Jay Ajayi, obviously, he's got some baggage being traded from Miami where they didn't think they wanted him.
Yeah,
but
he broke through a lot of tackles. I thought his runs were impressive. LeGarrette Blount had that long one. What was like?
It was like
yards.
No, it was like I think it was like a 27-yard touchdown. But either way, I mean, impressive. But yeah, 4 players over 100 yards. Corey Clement, as I mentioned. Danny Amendola, Chris Hogan, and Gronk all over 100 yards. Obviously, Brady throwing for 505 yards. It's going to go somewhere. It was distributed mainly between these 3 guys. 7 players with at least 8 targets. That you don't ever see that.
Yeah,
that is incredible. Yeah. Both quarterbacks threw the ball over 40 times. So targets, they distribute it well. We talked about how Nick Foles likes to distribute the ball pretty much all over the field, and he clearly did that. Brady does it too here and there, but he usually has more focus on a few guys. But no, they spread it out just as much in this game as well.
Yep.
But I don't know how much of a deciding factor this was, but the Eagles' run game, they actually had one. I'll just say that. The Patriots really didn't have one at all.
No.
James White, I think, or was his a rushing touchdown? I believe it was. But
I think so.
Yeah, that was really the only good run play the Patriots had all game. Eagles,
they weren't getting anywhere.
Yeah, Eagles' offensive line. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I cannot rave enough about them. There's so many people I can give. Yeah, there are so many people you can give credit to in this game on the Eagles side of the ball. Just everyone making plays. So, if you were the definition of a team win, that is a perfect example of it. But let's see. Before we break down Doug Pederson and Bill Belichick, that matchup, because that's probably my favorite of the game. Favorite Super Bowl commercial? You got one? I think they kind of disappointed this year.
No.
Well,
they
that's been the past 5 years. Honestly.
Yeah, I was hoping for a much better year. You have to give it to the combined efforts of Doritos and Mountain Dew.
Morgan Freeman
that was
and Peter Dinklage.
That was great. I really like David Harbour's stealing all the commercials,
he was
turning everything into a Tide commercial. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, that was good. What was the Giants,
the NFL one?
Eli and Odell. that one was funny.
I like that one a lot. Now it'd probably be the Peter Dinklage and Morgan Freeman commercial.
Yeah, definitely.
That was awesome. I mean, and you got Missy Elliott, so.
Oh yeah. That'll get anybody hype. And then you add Morgan Freeman
Busta Rhymes.
Yeah. You get Morgan Freeman lip syncing it, then I'm all for that.
Yeah.
All right. So
is that the only time he's been used for something other than his voice?
Probably.
Is that the only thing he's ever been featured in where he didn't speak?
It'd probably be funnier if they would have just let him outright rap it.
He couldn't.
I think he could.
It would have been so slow.
He is God. He can do anything.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah. But I think lip syncing it was pretty good.
Yeah. That one definitely stole the show in my eyes. Okay, Doug Pederson, Bill Belichick, coaching matchup of the century. I mean, who would have thought? Once again, rookie.
Who would have thought?
Yeah. I mean, young coach and Doug Pederson going up against the greatest coach of all time in Bill Belichick. Yep. And I really don't think there's a single thing Doug Pederson or Bill Belichick did better than Doug Pederson in this game. Not a one. I wrote down a few, preparation. I'll break all these down. Preparation, you got to give it to Doug Pederson. Obviously, he took a backup quarterback and did what he did. And game management in the game, obviously going forward on fourth down, getting the third down conversions, just the play calling, incredible play calling advantage there. And in-game adjustments, there really weren't any adjustments that Bill Belichick made in that game.
I didn't think so. I mean, but, that kind of goes with, so many people getting a chance to get the ball and make plays. I mean, when you spread it out that much, there's not a whole lot of in-game adjustments you can make to kind of shut a certain player down because it wasn't one player.
Yeah, that's very true.
There could have been some stuff done on defense to kind of put pressure on Nick Foles, but
that's why I
was so good.
I wrote the in-game adjustments last because I think the preparation and game management and play calling, those are the big three. Because Doug Pederson he flat out coached Bill Belichick. Yeah, the greatest coach of all time and top 5 quarterback of all time got beat by Nick Foles and Doug Pederson. Who would have thought? But anyway,
who would have thought?
I do want to talk about preparation a little bit. The main thing, I guess you can say preparation or game decision. Bill Belichick benching Malcolm Butler for Eric Rowe in this game, played 0 snaps. Malcolm Butler played 0 snaps. And apparently, there's been a lot of back and forth. I don't really know what to believe now. But Bill Belichick, or apparently the first report was Butler was sick. He didn't arrive at the facility until after the team did, and then he broke curfew. That was the first report. Yeah. And then now it's like a shouting match. I assume that's what's about to happen.
Probably.
Where Malcolm Butler says, or he denies any of that. And I don't want to look into this too much because it was an Instagram post, but that was where he said no, or he was denying any allegations of missing curfew or minor team offenses.
Yeah.
But he posted that, and then Tom Brady, or I think he liked it and said, I don't know, I believe you, something, or great teammate or something like that. But it's just I don't know. We might talk about this more in the offseason, but it's just yet another rift between the team and Belichick because I feel like that's always kind of been there. With Belichick, he has no, just no personal feelings towards pretty much anyone. Like
he doesn't have personal feelings. I'm convinced.
He has no emotions really. But yeah, we've seen him do things similar to this in the past. I didn't think you'd do this on this big of a stage. And I'll be the first one to say, like, I am super, super, super critical of Malcolm Butler.
I know that.
there are probably 30 cornerbacks in this league I would take over Malcolm Butler, without question. But he's still... He benched him for Eric Rowe. I think Eric Rowe did about as well as Malcolm Butler would have done. But you had two other guys that played over Malcolm Butler that had no business playing in a Super Bowl,
That's
honestly.
True. Yeah.
They were just a part of the defense, I guess.
They gave up some big
plays.
Stephon
Gilmore, no problem with him. I think he's the best corner on that roster. Best corner on that roster. I was going to say best secondary player, but that's not true.
No.
But yeah, Stephon Gilmore, and then I think Eric Rowe and Malcolm Butler are about the same. But you can't, especially the, I wouldn't say maturity, that's a bad way to say that, but like the experience that Butler has playing in Super Bowls. Obviously, his claim to fame is the pick against Russell Wilson.
Yep.
That's pretty much all people know him for. He's really
That's when he really started to be, on that first team Patriots defense. The next year, he was in like 98% of snaps or something like that.
Yeah, but I don't really want to, because I don't think you can look at that and say that's what cost him the game. Because, I mean, Belichick still stands by the decision. And if it was curfew issues or whatever, I mean, it's team rules, and I respect Belichick for doing that. But,
he's not going to make exceptions.
But still, I do agree you have to play Malcolm Butler at least, like, a little bit.
Benching a whole player. I mean, benching your starting cornerback for an entire game for something as minor that's not even like been reported or anything like that. That's pretty intense.
Yeah, and I think it's pretty safe to say that Malcolm Butler will not be on the Patriots next year.
No.
He's a free agent.
Especially if this gets any worse, which it probably will before it gets any better.
Yeah.
No, he's not going to be there.
Yeah. Okay. We'll break down, I guess, I'll go through a few of the stats that really set the Eagles apart from the Patriots. So, third downs. Third downs were huge. Eagles, 10 of 16. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Patriots, 5 of 10. Only 5 of 10. Eagles doubled what they achieved on third down. So, that was incredible enough. And what we said, one of the main points we had for the Patriots beating the Eagles were getting...
Forcing third and longs.
Third and longs. And they had a few.
They did.
But they could not get off the field.
They couldn't stop them.
They could not get off the field. Nick Foles made some dime throws to Alshon and Torrey Smith and Ertz on third and long. And, I mean, it was really, really impressive. And, again, it's going to go Doug Pederson, just his confidence and his aggressive play calling. Yeah. I mean, just more power to you, man. And then fourth downs. Talk about third downs. Fourth downs. Eagles 2 for 2, Pats 1 for 2. The Eagles, we'll break down the Nick Foles touchdown catch. That was on fourth down. We'll break down that here in a second. But the second fourth down conversion, they were driving they were down. It was close to the last drive of the game for the Eagles, and they cap off. Or they go for it on fourth down on their own 35 or something like that. Mm-hmm. And they make it. Zach Ertz, I believe, catches just a nice... he catches the basically jump ball, comes down for the first down. So, I mean, fourth downs, third downs, you line that up, definitely advantage Eagles. See, that's the big thing. You look at the box score and you see what happened. You see the 505 yards for Brady. But when you break things down like this is where it really sets them apart. Yeah. And then I will say penalties. Patriots got they were a little better there. Only one penalty. Again,
they got their one penalty.
Again, that's if Patriots
for 5 whole yards.
Patriot fans can't be complaining again.
No. One
for 5, and then Eagles 6 for 35. I mean, it was a pretty chill game for the refs in terms of penalties.
There wasn't a lot of penalties.
No, not much. And again, there wasn't really many like we talked about the average yards of separation, there wasn't many chances for pass interference because there was just
there's one that was holding.
a few maybe close calls, but that was about it. And then the big one I think, aside from the third down and fourth down conversions, time of possession. Yeah. Eagles 34 minutes and 4 seconds. Patriots 25 minutes and 56 seconds.
That's the big one.
Yeah, so roughly little less than 9 or 8 minute swing. And that was another one of our key points. Time management for the Eagles. They had to win the possession battle, and they surely did that in this one. And that was the crazy thing. Like, we saw how aggressive Doug Pederson was being, but he knew towards the end of the game when the right time was to start running the ball like heavily, because he ran it on 3 straight plays and then they punted. Or they ran 3 straight plays and kicked the field goal towards the end of the game, and that's what really set them apart in my eyes. Especially, I think this is very, very comparable. Obviously, it was less of a comeback, but comparable to last year, how the Falcons should have won that game if they had just played even remotely like Doug Pederson called this one.
Right.
And it would have gone, it would have gone the Falcons' way, and we'd have pretty much no reason to discuss Brady and Belichick, comparing that to this game, I should say.
Yeah.
Okay. Time to break down a few plays specifically. I wrote down 5 plays. I think these are the key plays that really set this game or in the path that it was going to be, which is an Eagles victory. So, I forgot to mention, we are sipping on a beer right now. You want to introduce the beverage?
Yeah, we've had a couple from Sierra Nevada before. Maybe just one. It is the Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. It is their go-to. It's their best-selling beer. Yeah, if they had a go-to, it would be this one. It's their best-selling beer. They brew it every year.
True.
And fun fact, this is actually my first beer I ever tried.
You remember your first beer?
Well, yes. I was 21. It was on my birthday.
Oh, yeah. I couldn't tell you.
And I hated it. I thought it tasted like a cactus.
Everyone hates their first beer.
Yeah, I thought it tasted like a cactus. But now this is one of my go-tos. It's up there with New Belgium Fat Tire. I really like that.
And Natural Light, of course. And Kirkland Light.
Yeah, Kirkland Light. Just Google that. The Pale Ale has my favorite label. It's just a nice babbling brook with some nice trees and some cool branches.
It's very bucolic.
Yes.
Word of the day, bucolic.
Bucolic, yeah. But there's this Sierra Nevada mountains in the background. It's just a very pleasant scene that it paints on your beverage.
And it makes a pleasant flavor in my mouth. So
yes. It also tastes very good. I like it a lot.
Yep. Another good commercial. All the Philly commercial, or instead of Dilly Dilly, it was Philly.
Oh yeah, that was good.
That was great. Just blatantly cheering for the Eagles. Yeah. I love that.
I like the Bud Night too. That was good.
Bud Night. Yeah, I forgot about that. See, there wasn't a Budweiser commercial though.
Yeah. Well, there was. It was the
cans.
Hurricane victims.
Yeah,
one.
I needed Clydesdales.
Yeah, we definitely needed the Clydesdales. But the Bud Night one, where he just walks through the crowd. They're all looking up to him, and he just goes into the convenience store. that was really good. And Bud Night, that's iconic.
Yeah, that was great.
Whoever's doing the marketing for Bud Light right now
they're hitting home runs.
It's incredible, and they needed a marketing campaign like this, but Dilly Dilly and Bud Night. It doesn't get any better than that.
That's great. All right, okay, so breaking down a few plays specifically. First one, we'll just go Nick Foles, touchdown catch from Trey Burton on a reverse with 34 seconds left before halftime. Arguably, this is one of the gutsiest calls I've ever seen in a Super Bowl, I should say.
It is a jaw-dropper.
Yeah, other than maybe Sean Payton kicking the onside kick in their Super Bowl, this is right up there with him. And Doug Pederson, again, I can't get over what this guy just did. Yeah. And we mentioned when Sean McVay won Coach of the Year, but I said Doug Pederson, he should be right up there with him. If it wasn't such a big turnaround for the Rams, Doug Pederson would have easily.
If the Rams weren't so terrible last year.
Yeah. But touchdown on the reverse, just ballsy play and executed to perfection. I was watching, I think they said they practiced this 3 times in the past 2 weeks, just 3 times, and they knew obviously Nick Foles. Beautiful acting job. Corey Clement.
He fooled me.
Yeah, great acting job. Like I was jumping out of my seat. I was like, oh my gosh, they're throwing to him. And Trey Burton, former high school quarterback, he went to Florida as a quarterback, and then they shifted him to tight end, so they knew he could throw. It might have been a while since he has thrown, but he threw a perfect ball to Nick Foles. He caught his pass. Obviously, it was very similar to Brady's, except Nick Foles. And I can tell you, right when Brady dropped his, I can tell you what went wrong. It was a little, the throw wasn't as good as Burton's to Foles, but just as any receiver, he short-armed it. He just flat-out short-armed it. I've done it a million times because you think you're so comfortable catching it, and you think it's just like right there, and you short-arm it, and you don't extend all the way. Now, granted, I'm not going to peg him for that because he's a quarterback. He's Tom Brady, bucket feet Tom Brady.
Yeah. You're not going to tell him he should start practicing catching more.
No. But I just from a receiver's viewpoint, he just short armed it. I know. You could tell what went wrong. Yep. And again, that arguably one of the deciding factors.
Yep.
Anything else you want to say about that play? The Nick Foles touchdown catch?
No, it was a really good acting job. I thought that they were really scrambling to get a play called, and I was really nervous because I thought they were going to let time expire. It was going to be like a stupid play. No one would know what to do.
See, I felt like they were going to do, or I thought they were just going to snap a wild. I didn't expect the throw back to Foles, but I expected them to snap it from the Wildcat because when Foles was going up and he was still parallel to the line and everything, and still kind of like
in motion.
Yeah, and Corey Clement, he looked ready to catch the ball. He wasn't standing around either. So I kind of had a feeling, just wasn't expecting them to throw back to Nick Foles for a touchdown. Which my word, that's incredible.
This is a great play. That was a highlight for me.
Yeah. Now the two, I should say, controversial plays. I put those in quotes because I don't think there's much to talk about. Really, I don't think there's much controversy. Granted. I still don't. No one knows what a catch is, so I'm just going to go off.
And it will be different next year because apparently Roger Goodell.
He's adamant.
Doesn't like that.
Yeah, he's adamant on changing it.
So it might be a catch next year. It might not be a catch next year. But it was a catch this year.
Yeah. So Corey Clement, 22-yard touchdown reception in the back of the end zone. We saw him get. See, when Chris Collinsworth. Okay, first of all, for all the fans out there just watching the game. It's almost better for you to watch a game without any commentary.
The TV muted.
They're
not providing any insight.
Well, especially Chris Collinsworth. I can tell you that.
Man.
Speaking of, he had the most. That was probably one of the worst announced games I've ever seen.
He was the butt of many jokes in my living room.
Very true. Again, thank you for allowing Heather to cook.
Anytime. I will. Yeah, I'll let her cook again.
And getting me don't you worry. Super drunk. So thank you for that.
Well, we do what we can.
Yeah. Hey, it was a good time. But anyway, back to this play. Corey Clement, 22-yard touchdown.
Chris Collinsworth clearly did not agree with the officials.
No,
call.
Not at all. He thought it was going to be overturned from the beginning. That's why I want viewers to. It would be. Obviously, it's fun to listen to the commentary. But
not that time.
Well, not that. But it skews people's viewpoints of what is going on. Make your own opinions. Yeah. You don't need Chris Collins because people hear that. People hear what Chris Collinsworth says, and they're just like, "Oh, well, that must be right. that must be it." And just form your own opinions. You know what a catch is. And from what I saw him catch the ball, have possession. He had his left foot down first.
Yeah.
And then the right foot. Yeah. So left foot down with possession. Right foot came down. And then left foot came down out of bounds. So it was 1, 2, 3. But he had I know they said it was a bobble. There's a difference between a bobble and moving the ball in your hands. You have possession of it. It's not a bobble.
Yeah.
You still have possession of it. So you can't make that click. Because obviously, his third step, his left foot...
it was clearly out of bounds.
Oh, it was clearly out of bounds.
But he had already taken a step. He had already landed on his left foot.
Yeah, and props to... I'll explain more after this next play, but... Props to Gene Steratore. I know he's all flamboyant and tries to make everything as like showman as possible, but he did I thought he had one of the best examples of how refs should explain what their calls is.
What their calls is. In my head movies.
I quit. Anyway. Back to grammar school.
Man.
But no, he did an incredible job explaining how the play or what his deciding factor was.
Yeah.
And why he overturned a call or why he stood with a call. Yeah. I thought that was one of the best examples of that I've ever seen.
And they should get in the practice of doing.
Yeah, they need to train these refs up a little better than they have been.
Yeah, they just need to be more vocal about why they're doing the things they're doing.
Yeah, and honestly, all sports could do that. Basketball's one of the worst. Baseball's pretty bad.
Yeah. Basketball, in my mind, basketball is the worst about penalties or fouls because you just there's so much.
Well, there's so many in basketball.
There's so
you can't
many
explain.
fouls.
You can't explain all of them.
And it's
usually.
Just like you look at two plays and they're exactly the same. One they called a foul and one they didn't. I don't know why.
No, let's not get down that road. You're not going to stop talking.
No.
Okay. Third play. Zach Ertz, 11-yard touchdown reception. This was ultimately that was at the end of the drive that really put the Eagles on top for good. And now they're saying it's comparable to the Jesse James play.
I don't think so. It's comparable, yeah.
Okay. Now that we have like two examples of this, I see at first, if we would have saw the Ertz play and then the Jesse James play, like Ertz happened and then the Jesse James play happened, I would have been like, okay, I know what both of these kind of are, but I think, because my first, if I was just, again, in a vacuum, just saw these two plays out of context and everything, I'd be like, just from my knowledge of football, I'd be like, okay, Ertz, he had control. He took 2, maybe 3 steps. I can't remember, but definitely 2. And then lunged toward the end zone. So he became a runner, as their rule states. Lunged towards the end zone, broke the plane, plays over.
Yeah.
Now the Jesse James one, as I talked about this weeks ago when that play happened, because Geronimo Allison had a fumble similar to that. In that same week, and he had 2 feet and then became a runner and fumbled the ball, and it was a fumble. It wasn't a drop catch.
Yeah.
Now the Jesse James one, see what I always thought. I always thought it was kind of like 2 feet. It's kind of like if you're going out of bounds. 2 feet equals 1 knee or 1 hip or 1 shin or 1 elbow.
Yeah.
That's just what I always thought. So I thought Jesse James had his knee down and then had possession and then launched towards the end zone.
Yeah.
That's how I viewed it. So now I guess, see, I know what's good. This is, okay, I will say this is what my definition of the catch rule is now. You have to have clearly 2 feet and then make a football move, which I guess that's what the rule states, but they've always made it seem like the knee being down and making a lunge is the same. But I guess now that's not the case.
Yeah.
So I really don't know. But this one, I don't see the issue with this being a touchdown at all.
This is another example of a time when I almost went ballistic over Chris Collinsworth. I just for my mind, like, I could not process how what couldn't be a touchdown. Like,
yeah.
It just looked like a play to me, and I couldn't. They spent so much time reviewing it, and I was just sitting there like, what is happening? Like, how is this not just how have they not already kicked the field goal and kicked off already? I mean, I could not process how this was a question.
Well, that's why I have no problem.
And that was just me just looking at it. Just I didn't look up. I didn't go to the rule book and try to figure out what was a catch and what wasn't. But just from looking at it, he caught it. He took 2 steps. He dove. He broke the plane.
Yeah,
that was it.
Yeah, and that's
as simple as that.
I mean, I have no problem with the refs going and looking at it and taking their time.
They should,
but no, again the commentating just
that's what drove me crazy, and maybe they were just trying to fill space because they didn't have anything else to talk about while they were reviewing it. But wow, I mean, just the things that were said, just wow.
Yeah. But yeah, this one clearly a touchdown. It was obviously ruled a touchdown. I guess 2 feet. You got to have 2 feet instead of a knee. Now, by the time we get back to football in however many days, 250 days, the rule might be completely different and defined in a different way.
It probably will be changed.
But this one, and the thing that got me was, obviously they called it a touchdown on the field. There really wasn't. There wasn't really anyone around Ertz, but there really wasn't that great of an angle to show that the ball 100% definitively hit the ground. His hand, you can't really tell. It could have bounced up off of his hand, and then he possessed it again. So touchdown. Yeah. So I don't see any argument for
overturning.
Really. Yeah, I really don't see any argument for that many bad calls in this game. I think there were some ticky-tacky pass interference calls or holding calls that could have been.
There's holding calls.
But that's every game. That's
every game. I mean, there's plays like. But there was no primetime big.
No,
big
not from
mistakes.
Scoring plays. I thought they did an excellent job there.
Yep.
All right, fourth play. Now we got through the controversial ones. These are just game-defining plays.
Good plays.
Yeah. Brandon Graham strip sack recovered by Derek Barnett. That
was a game changer.
Yeah, again, just plays of the game everywhere. But Brandon Graham finally gets the lone sack of the game for either team. Strips Tom Brady. The ball bounces up.
Hop.
Yeah, one hop. Derek Barnett makes a nice snag, and I thought the game was completely over then. I didn't think the Patriots were going to get the ball back. But
there's a lot of time left.
Yeah, but it was perfect because, one, it was in Patriots territory, so they didn't really have to feel forced to pass and get more points. So they ran it 3 times after that, and then, which comes to my next play, Jake Elliott knocking down a 46-yard field goal with 1:05 remaining. Jake Elliott is a forgotten hero in this game. He made a 42-yarder and a 46-yarder, and
the 46-yarder was the one that really sealed the deal. I mean, it didn't really because they were still a touchdown and a 2-point conversion away from tying. If it would have extended it to 9, it would have been a game, set, and match.
And if you think back, if Elliott wouldn't have missed his PAT, we wouldn't have even been talking about.
It would have been 9 points.
It would have been 9 points. Granted, Goskowski missed a field goal and a PAT. So.
So you can't go back and do ifs and buts.
Yeah. But Jake Elliott, a rookie, man.
A rookie on that stage. That's just mental fortitude.
Just think of all that. Just all the players that were involved for that Eagles win. You have a rookie. You have
a backup quarterback.
You have 3 running backs that weren't on your roster last year.
Yeah.
You have a backup quarterback. You have a new left tackle. You have a really young head coach, and you're going up against a juggernaut in the New England Patriots.
Yeah.
And you're able to do this. I'm excited for the Eagles for the future, and congrats for them getting their first title or Super Bowl title, I should say.
Yep.
But we got Nick Foles winning the MVP, Super Bowl MVP, and again, I think it was decided. So many plays you could say, but him catching the touchdown. But I think the thing that really, really sealed it, and obviously sealed the win, he took a 6-minute drive, 14-play, 6-minute drive, which included a 4th down conversion. It included, I believe, 2 third-down conversions, and eventually ended with a Zach Ertz touchdown.
Yeah, that was the drive of the game for sure.
Without question. 14 play in 6 minutes.
Yeah.
That's the kicker. 6 minutes is impressive.
Right when they needed to.
You'd expect a backup to come in and just be a game manager. I can't speak today.
Game manager.
Game manager. I cannot speak today. Good Lord. But no, you expect him to be a game manager, and he just comes in and lights the New England Patriots defense up. Just lights them up. He plays better than Tom Brady.
Yep.
He just outplays everybody. Nick Foles, well deserved Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah.
And to all those, I mean, I know what Nick Foles did and what he just did for that city, but you are absolutely insane if you think Carson Wentz is not going to be their starter next year.
Oh,
you are out of your mind.
I mean, if you're the Eagles, you have to entertain trade talks.
Oh,
about
yeah.
Nick Foles. I mean, this is like
the landing spots.
This is like peaked in high school, like prime time trade. I mean, you are not. I mean, it's possible Nick Foles' trade value might be more eventually.
Yeah.
But in my mind, this is as high as it goes.
Yeah.
He just led a team as a backup quarterback to beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl. You need to think about trading him.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
because you've got Carson Wentz.
Yeah, but I really don't have a problem if they do want to keep him around.
Well, I mean, yeah, I'm not saying you have to trade him, but I'm saying like you can't just say, oh, we have to keep him no matter what because of what he did.
Yeah, but I mean the landing spots, I could think of so many.
Yeah, absolutely.
Arizona would be ideal. I think that would be incredible. I think Larry would stay another year, and I mean that roster is filthy. They just don't have a quarterback. And as long as they can keep him healthy.
And as long as David Johnson doesn't get hurt again.
Yeah. knock on wood.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I won't dive into this too much because we're going to talk free agency here in a few weeks. But would you rather have, say, if you're the Cardinals or the Browns or the Broncos or all these teams looking for quarterbacks, would you rather have Nick Foles or Kirk Cousins?
That is a good question. I think that it depends on the team. I really think it depends on the team and what system they're going into. Because Nick Foles could easily if he gets traded to a team where he could push back against a trade if he wants to. Again, if they're trying to trade him to a team where he doesn't mesh with that offensive system,
like the Browns.
Yeah, like the Browns. No one meshes with that offense, but I really think it comes down to the similarities in the teams and what the Eagles did this year. I don't think Nick Foles can do what he did on the Eagles just on any team.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I think him in Denver or him in Arizona, it's kind of similar because they have good defenses just like the Eagles had. Again, there's a lot of different pieces. They definitely don't have the coaching. No. Not even close. But I don't know. We'll talk about that more. I haven't really looked into it that much. But,
no. I think Kirk Cousins is going to the Broncos.
Yeah, I do too.
My opinion.
What do you think of the whole Justin Timberlake halftime show?
I loved it. It was awesome.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty. I don't know. It wasn't my favorite by any means, but
I liked it a lot.
I mean, I liked it. I thought it was.
I just think Justin's such a good performer. He just knows how to perform.
I don't know. I thought it was kind of short. Granted, I was intoxicated, but
yeah, you might not be the best to give opinions on the matter.
No, I went back and watched it. I went back and watched the pretty much the entirety, like the sped up version of the entire game, and I watched the halftime show again. But it just seemed kind of like quiet and like it seemed like the music kind of overwhelmed him.
I mean, he squeezed in a lot in 8 minutes or whatever he had.
I was hoping for a guest. That was my thing. I was hoping he.
Honestly, I didn't even care. I guess even after it was just like
he brought out Prince.
He brought out Prince. It doesn't get any better than that.
Okay, that was one of my favorite moments in any halftime. Was when they zoomed out at the stadium and they had the Prince logo in purple. Yeah, that was cool. Incredible.
That was really cool how they did that, and I didn't think he needed a guest. He did he's just such a good performer.
Yeah.
I was just glad that the only two songs that I had to hear was "Sexy Back" and "My Love."
Yeah.
I love both of those.
There you go.
By far my favorite songs of his, and he played both of them.
Yeah. No NSYNC though. No NSYNC.
No NSYNC. Yeah. Maybe next year.
Yeah. Okay. I think we have some time to talk a little bit NFL awards. I really don't have that much of a debate about any of them. Except for one, but well, maybe two. Defensive Player of the Year goes to Aaron Donald. I don't really have that much of a problem with that. I thought a few other guys could have slipped in there, but Aaron Donald, he's arguably the best player in football, not just defensively. So no problem there. Then Offensive Player of the Year, Todd Gurley. Rams,
no problem with that.
No problem with that. I kind of have a problem with that because I think he could have been in MVP talks. But
oh yeah, me too.
Defensive Rookie of the Year, Marshawn Lattimore.
Definitely agree with.
Oh yeah,
I mean, there's no one.
There's no one even close. I think did he have the highest spread of votes?
I think so.
Yeah, I think he did too. And then Alvin Kamara, Offensive Rookie of the Year. I still think Kareem Hunt could or should have had a few more votes, made it a little closer because I think they were very, very similar.
Yeah, I think Alvin Kamara definitely deserved it.
Yeah, I have no problem with it. No problem with that at all. So Rams and Saints just tearing through the NFL honors. The big one, the one that was like all the other ones were pretty much locks. No one really had problems with them, but there were some talks of or discrepancies with Tom Brady winning MVP honors.
Yeah, I would say I would probably not give it to him. Yeah, Todd Gurley was my favorite. I mean, I'll just say that. I mean, he was my favorite to win the MVP.
See, I had three guys I would have put over Brady. I put Brady at 4. I put Brady at 3. I'll say that. I'll put him over Antonio Brown because Antonio got hurt and kind of filtered off. But the fact that I don't understand why Carson Wentz did not win MVP. It makes no sense to me. He played 3 less games, I believe. Yeah. He threw for more touchdowns, less interceptions. Obviously, Brady gets the yardage. I don't understand why we idolize yardage so much. QBR was better than Brady's.
Yeah. I would have been perfectly fine if they would have given it to Carson Wentz. I thought he deserved it.
And maybe they didn't because they saw what Nick Foles and the Eagles were doing without him.
Or because he got hurt. I don't know.
I don't know. I think Carson Wentz was easily the best player in football this year, in my opinion. I don't have any problem saying that. No ifs, ands, or buts.
Yep.
So yeah, but Tom Brady wins MVP. But I guess Carson Wentz doesn't care because he has a ring. He got the ring this year.
Yep.
And then I do want to mention J.J. Watt winning Walter Payton Man of the Year.
That wasn't even a question.
No, not at all. Incredible work with the Houston relief.
I think I've never seen anything like that before.
How many millions of dollars was it in like a month?
It was like...
It was crazy.
It was tens of millions. Yeah. I don't know how much it was, but it was... I mean, no one's done anything like that before.
Yeah, no, that was incredible. J.J. Watt, I mean, he's
class act.
Oh, yeah, class act and just a monster on the football field. Hopefully he gets back out on the football field. I'm tired of him being hurt.
Yeah, I know, me too. He's so exciting to watch.
Yeah. And then the Hall of Fame class. Hall of Fame class of 2018. 8 members this year. Had Brian Dawkins, Jerry Kramer, go Pack after about 40 years. Ray Lewis, Randy Moss, Terrell Owens, Brian Urlacher, Robert Brazil, and Bobby Beathard, GM. He's not a player, but GM. But yeah, I mean, I think this is arguably the best class I've ever seen. I mean, in my opinion, you have arguably a top 5 safety of all time. You have 2 linebackers that could be considered, or 2 middle linebackers that could be considered top 10 all time. You have 2 receivers that can be considered top 5 all time. I don't see any problem with this class at all. I think this is one of the better ones we've ever had.
There's one name that was left off.
Yeah, I know. Give it time. John Lynch. I understand.
Yeah, he's been on there 5 times.
Has he?
Yes.
5? I didn't know that. How many times can you be on there?
I
know there's a limit.
The most anyone that ever... I don't know what that sentence was.
We can't speak today.
The most anyone has ever been on it was either 6 or 8 times.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was 6, but whatever. I mean, I could spew off facts and stats, and he is more than qualified to be in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, I have no problem putting him in there.
I have no idea why it's taking him so long, but yeah. I think he'll be right back there next year, and hopefully he'll get in. He has some tough competition this year.
Yeah.
I'll give it.
Oh yeah, I mean that list is incredible. I'd put him very, very close to Brian Dawkins. Interesting Brian Dawkins fact: he had an interception, at least one interception, in 15 straight years. That's
pretty good.
Ridiculous. Just for a safety to play that long and stay healthy that long, and obviously be producing for that long.
Yep.
Yeah. So, that is going to wrap up today's show. Next week, I guess are we gonna start recording on Sundays now?
Yep.
Is this the time? It's about time.
It is.
Yeah, but
that'll be better for me.
Yeah, we'll record on Sundays. We will drop episodes on Mondays.
Give you a whole week to listen to it.
So yeah, I guess the next episode will be on the 12th, February 12th, and that's going to be our Fantasy Football Award show. I know we've been pushing that back for a while now, but no, we are doing it. That's the next show we're doing, without question.
Yep.
We're going to talk everything from MVPs to busts to we're getting back to fantasy football. We've been talking playoffs for a while, so back to fantasy football. And then week after that, we're looking at the free agency. We're going to look at free agency for the first time. I don't know if we're going to, because we do want to keep this more of a fantasy show than like actual, like real life football, as much as we can. I mean, it's always fun to talk both sides of it, but for the free agency show, I'm not really sure if we'll talk that many defensive players. We might mention them here and there, but we're mainly going to focus on like ranking, like the top quarterbacks available, top running backs available, wide receivers, things like that.
Yeah.
And then week after that, we're either going to do our first mock draft or for like the actual NFL draft. We're either going to do the mock draft or we're going to do like rookie ranks. And again, if we do the rookie ranks, we're probably just going to rank the offensive players, the skill players. We're not going to rank linemen. But when we do the actual mock draft, we will do like an actual like full slate draft of everything.
Yep.
So that is going to be all for today. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at the 423football. Especially since we're only doing once a week, we're definitely going to have content over there at some point. Maybe even possibly in the off season. Figure out how to get a website going and maybe write some blogs and articles and actually have rankings up there, because I know everyone wanted to see the rankings throughout the season, and we really didn't have them that much. I mean, we talked about them, but we never really had like a visual.
Right.
So we're going to try to work on that. So, but yeah, definitely make sure you follow us on Twitter at the 423football. That's where you get most of our your information from us. Make sure you like us on Facebook, subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, and YouTube. Give us a like, leave your comments and reviews, share us with the world. Thanks for listening. We are the 423 Football Podcast.
Peace out.